Okay, check, check. Ladies and gentlemen, Hip Hop Mike live from my house. I have a special guest that's checking in all the way from Belgium, by way of Jamaica, I guess, because he's got the ocean behind him. One of the best
Yo,
artists, tattoo artists in the world, my man Inal. What up, bro?
thank you so much for having me here. Thank you again, bro. And yeah, my name, guys, like my name is Inal Bersekov on Instagram. I'm a tattoo artist. So if bro, if you want to have more
I mean,
information,
this guy Nal, if for people who aren't familiar, he has an Instagram page that has over 100,000 followers. He's posting constant tattoos, art. Has another page of art where we're gonna get to
just
all of
starting.
that. I mean, I think there's so much to know about you, man. Honestly, I think there's a lot of different elements to what you do. I've watched some videos on YouTube about how you got started, which I think is interesting. And like as far as tattoo artists go, you don't seem like the traditional tattoo artist. Like,
No, 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 no,
you
not at
know,
all, bro.
I mean, for starters, I don't even see that you really have a lot of tattoos.
Bro, I think I'm the only one in this fucking world. Like, I don't even have a tattoo. For real,
Really?
I don't have any tattoo. I have one. I don't know if you can see that from there. Just a dot. You can see that?
Okay, just the dot.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But I'll go back to that one too. I'm gonna tell you that story. That's a funny story too.
All right, well, let's take them back to the beginning, man, because how does a guy that's not into getting tattoos become one of the best tattoo artists in the world? Like, where does this start for you?
Yo, I mean, let's start like I might be a good artist, but like I'm not the best one. So let's stay humble. So how I started, right? So you know, since like I'm really young, right? Like even 3 years old or something, like I was drawing all my life, right? So and my parents never really accepted me drawing, right? The old school parents like, oh, you have to study, you have to work in the bank, whatever. So what are you gonna do with those drawings? Like, are you gonna draw people on the beach? Something like that.
Yeah.
So I was just drawing by myself, just kind of hiding from my parents or whatever. But that shit followed me forever, like literally forever. So we left the country. We came to Belgium, and I started just studying. I studied economics. I have a degree in economics, nothing to do with with
Okay.
tattoos, whatever. But I was literally doing that for my parents, right? Just like because I need to do something for them. And I dropped out like the last year, whatever, and we got in a fight with my parents, or whatever. And I was making before tattoos. Actually, I was making videos and pictures, for after party videos, whatever. Like I was really into it, like making music videos. And I knew that I just couldn't make it in Belgium. You cannot survive with that here. So, and then one day, this is when everything just happened, right? So one day, my friend, he came back from Thailand. He was living there for like 8 years or something like that. He came back. He was just he was high as fuck, and and scroll is like he was a little like scrolling like through my Facebook, and he saw my album with my drawings, right? So, and I was just about to remove those. I was like, why should I leave my drawings over there? And he told me like, yo, bro, your drawings are so crazy. Like you should start tattooing. I was like, me tattooing? Like, are you fucking crazy? Back then, like my vision was tattoos like you have to be a motorbike guys or whatever, like listen to
Yeah.
metal music, have a huge bird like tattoos everywhere. So I was like, no, 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 it's not really not for me. And he told me, his dad actually had a tattoo shop back then in my city right here. So he was like, no, no, no. I mean, you have to try it. So you have to try and just let's see what's gonna happen. And I was like, yo, whatever. So okay, let's try it. So I really thought like my friend, he's gonna be like most of the people around us, right? So he's gonna tell some bullshit, and tomorrow I don't have any news from him. And I remember I was sleeping like it was around like 9 in the morning. He called me. He was like, "Where the fuck are you? I've been waiting for you like since 7 in the morning." I was like, "Yo, what do you mean? I got your gear, right?" So he got me a gear like from China, those
Okay.
starter packs, right? So basically it's like a small box with 2 or 3 shearing machines, like from China. They're not even tattooing straight, some really bad, really bad ink and everything together. So he was like, "So just take it and just try it." I was like, I don't know nothing. I don't even know how to put the needle. He was like, you have internet today. You have YouTube. Just go and just check how it works.
Wow.
So basically that day, I just took the machine and I dismounted the machine. I mounted back. I dismounted like till I could do it just with my eyes closed. So I could know
Okay.
my machine by heart. So that day I tattooed. I remember, when we're learning, we're using those fake skins.
Okay,
It's like
yeah,
a
like the
fake
models.
silicone, yeah, silicone fake skin, whatever. And I got one. I remember I tattooed like on that, just watching my wife's face. Back then she was my girlfriend, and I was watching and just did the face. I was like, yo, this is so easy. I should try it on somebody else, right? And my friend was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is easy. I was like, okay. So I called my friend David. He got a lot of fucked up tattoos because he's tattooing himself, but it really fits to him, right? Really like prison style tattoos. He's tattooing himself with a hand poke, with a machine made by
Oh
himself.
wow.
Yeah, and I took him. I was like, "Yo, bro, David, do you want me to get it? Like, do you want me to do a tattoo on yourself?" He's like, "Shit, yeah." And I told him, like, your tattoos are already so fucked up. Mine's gonna be good. Don't worry. So, so he told me yes. And you know what? This is a topic today. And my first actual tattoo was the next day, and my first tattoo was Malcolm X portrait. Actually,
Oh wow.
yeah, that was my first tattoo ever. The next day, literally. So I remember we got super high, we smoked a lot, and we started at midnight. We tattooed till 7 in the morning, and the tattoo was done, right? So I mean, today, of course, I'm gonna tell it's bad, right? But back then it was good. So I posted on my Facebook, and this is where everything started, like, because back then we used more Facebook than Instagram.
Yeah.
So people, like, just contact me, like, sharing my picture, and like that, more and more clients ask me for tattoos, and this is how everything started, which
So
is
how much different is it doing tattoos than it is actually drawing? Because to draw, I know there's like different pencils, different markers, there's like a
yeah,
whole variety. With
yeah,
tattoos,
yeah.
are the machines very different from one another? And is it like the same
So
as drawing?
yeah, but listen, like, first I thought like it was really different, right? So this is where probably my style became my style, right? Because when I started tattooing first time, I went to those tattoo shops, asking them for, if they could take me as an apprentice. I got rejected everywhere. Literally, this is, what it is. The tattoo industry is shit. I can tell, like I hate it. Okay. So I got rejected from all the tattoo shops in Belgium, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it by myself. So I was checking literally pictures on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this is, and I was trying like to figure out what technique they used, what needles they use, like this is how I learned by myself, like literally doing new techniques on new clients and without fucking it up, because if you fuck it up,
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
forever, bro.
Go.
So and this is where I understood that tattoo actually for me it's not really different from drawing, right? Because in tattoo we have different needles too, right? So
Okay.
it's the same as using different brushes when you're drawing. So that was kind of like for me, oh, it's the same, right? So and then like all the tattoo artists started using those new machines, which is like the rotary machines. They're not like coil machines, the old
Okay.
school ones. So the rotary machines, they don't make any sounds. They're not even vibrating. So it's the new machine, they even look like pens. So for me, it was like all win-win situation, right? So and I applied my drawing technique to the tattoo, and this is where I started doing those like micro realism tattoos,
Yeah.
pushing it as hard as possible. And this is where exactly the fracture between me and tattoo, the like old school tattoo artists happened, because they hate seeing small tattoos because they tell it doesn't heal well, right? And I wanted to prove like it stays well even after years. This depends, like how you're doing that, right? And of course, since then, like a lot of tattoo artists that started doing like micro realism. I'm super happy, like I was part of that thing, kind of change, kind of flip the tattoo
Yeah.
situation today. And you can see a lot of new artists come in, and they're not really like into tattoo. They're they can be graphic designers, they can even be whoever, right? So if they're good in art, if they're drawing, right, so they can just apply it to tattoos and they do even like greater stuff than we haven't seen before. And this is, yeah, right. So this is where I understood, as I told before, like my technique was exactly the same. I was drawing since forever. So this is how it went. Yeah, crazy.
Is there like a favorite part of the body that you like to tattoo? Like, is there a place
Yeah,
where you prefer to? What
Yeah,
what
right.
would that be? Like if people are
The
looking to get a
fucking ass,
tattoo,
bro.
the ass is it
No, no,
really?
no, 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 no. Only girls' ass. I'm joking,
Only
joking.
girls.
No, no. Let's no. I actually like the forearm, right? So here,
Okay.
right here, for me is the best part because it's tight and the skin is really it's thin, it's good, right? So no bumpy, nothing. This is the best part because it's kind of hidden from the sun. It's not exposed to the sun. So here and there this is the best part. So I like tattooing over here
All right,
all the
gotcha.
time. Yeah.
Who is, I guess, the influence for tattooing? I mean, your friend put you onto it, but did you have any influences that you looked up to as far as other tattoo
Yeah, yeah,
artists?
yeah. There's a few of them, bro. I mean, they're, back then they're like still now there was Nicky Norberg. His Instagram is Nicky23 GTR. He from Sweden, right?
Okay.
And I was literally like, watching all his pictures on Instagram and trying to understand his technique because he was like my fucking idol. I was the type of guy I was like, I'll never have any idols because I hate that shit.
Mhm.
People's
I
are
feel you.
people, right? There are people like me, so but that guy was my fucking idol. So, and one day actually I saw him posting something on Instagram. Was like, hey, I'm coming back to Sweden, for a week or two. I knew he was almost never in Europe, so I was like, yo, this is the chance, right? So I've been tapping for 2 years, and I was like, this is a chance. I just want to meet him, whatever, right? And I called the shop. So this is how everything happened. Actually, I called the shop, and they. So Nicky back then he was working at a really cool studio. The name is Ivory Tower.
Okay.
There's a really good tattoo artist over there, Richard Fidro. They're all really good friends of mine. So Nico was working there. So somebody responded to me like, "Hey, what do you want?" I was like, "Yeah, I just, can I meet Nikki?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Why are you fucking calling? Just like, come by to the shop, just see him if you want. Drop the phone." I was like, "Fuck, what should I do?" I watched my wife and I was like, "Yo, you know what? Just prepare the luggage. Just take and we go."
All right.
And we took the car. We took our car. We drove 13 hours.
Oh, wow.
And the next day I was there, I was in front of that shop. I couldn't go inside the shop because I could see him working, and I was so afraid. I was shaking. I was all white, whatever. It's just like, no, I cannot go there. No, why I came here? And she literally told me like, fucking take your balls and just go and say him hi. You never know. And we went in, and I see a huge guy. He's coming like he's almost like 2 meters high. I don't know how it's like, probably like what is like almost like
Yeah,
even
it's like
six,
6 feet.
six, six. Yeah, even higher than 6 feet. He was like huge, and he was like, "So yeah, how can I help you?" And he's a tattoo artist over there. His name is Munchen. And I was like, "Yo, I called you yesterday. I'm from Belgium. From wherever." And
Yeah.
his face literally changed. He was
You
like,
couldn't believe it.
and he called Nicky. He was like, yo, I mean, like, stop tattooing, fucking asshole. Just come here and just say this guy hi because he did like 13, 14 hours for you just driving, right? So Nicky actually, he literally like stopped and stood up, said me hi, like we drank a coffee. We talked about like, tattoos, and this is exactly where all my mind changed because I understood that, I stayed beside him like for 30 minutes. I understood that actually his technique was almost like, no, my technique was almost the same as his technique, just a few changes there and there. I was like, fuck, I could make it, right? So I could do it even without, having even an apprenticeship. So this is where everything kind of changed my mind. We became really good friends with those guys. We started doing guest spots over there. So I was going back and working for them. Yeah, another funny story about that guy is on my idol. So, where I came to see him, and we've been talking about tattoos. I actually showed my tattoos. He didn't even say the word. He was more talking about my car than my tattoos. And,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so painful, bro. He was like, oh, your car is so cool, right? I was like, oh, thank you, but I came here for the tattoos. Yeah,
That's
that
so
was kind of
funny.
embarrassing, bro. Yeah, so
Nah, but you spent 13 hours in it. The last thing you want to look at is the car. You're probably trying to look at the art and
right,
everything.
right, yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
I mean,
funny.
his name is Nicky23 GTR because he loves cars, so he likes the GTR. So
He's a GTR guy.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm rolling another one, guys. I'm
Oh,
rolling
good.
cigarettes. So
He's smoking tobacco. For anybody's
Yeah,
wondering,
yeah.
rolls his own cigarettes.
You know
Oh,
why I'm smoking tobacco actually? Because if I smoke just regular cigarettes, I'm just gonna like, I'm just gonna smoke like a pack or two a day.
get
Uh,
carried
This,
away.
yeah, I'm sorry guys, a little sorry. This is something you don't have to do in the interview, but hey, yeah.
All good. What do you do like when you're doing a tattoo? If it's like the first tattoo you said you started at midnight and go till 7 a.m. When it's not with
Yeah.
somebody that it's maybe a friend that you could just talk to for 7 hours, is there things that you like to do while you're doing tattoos? Like, can you listen to music or what do you?
Yo, yeah, I mean, nothing really changed from that day, because actually, what's going on right now. Even if I'm gonna tattoo whatever client, right? So I never met him, right? So let's say he's coming in the morning. We choosing the project. We working on that together. I'll come to that point too. Why I'm doing that way. Um, and then we deciding. And when I actually start tattooing, it's already late. It's like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Sometimes it's like 6 p.m. So, sometimes I'm tattooing still now, after so many years, I'm still putting like fucking work till 5, 6 in the morning because, you know, tattoo is a tattoo, right? So it's forever. And you want to give your best, for that. And I love, I'm passionate about that. And, and how I cope with that, sometimes, of course, I'm tattooing, I'm so concentrated on the tattoo, I'm not even talking, right? So he can talk, I'm like, just and sometimes he talked to me about something like, and after 30 minutes I'm gonna come back and talk about that. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you talked to me about that just a few seconds
Yeah.
ago. No, 30 minutes ago. So yeah, usually I'm listening to some music to kill time, right? So I probably, in the beginning of a tattoo, I listen to some, like hip hop music or rap music,
Yeah.
because like I need a little bit of strength, just to start. In the middle of the tattoo, probably I'm gonna listen to some lo-fi, lo-fi, whatever lo-fi, just cool chill music because I need concentration. So I don't want to like to listen, even like if it's a good hip hop music, I don't want to break my brain with something like hitting so hard. And at the end, a little at the end, I'm gonna put even some crazy hip hop music again just to push myself to the last time. So this is how I actually work with the music. I'm working with the music actually. That's true. That's true. 100%.
Yeah, it
100%.
sounds like going to the gym. Like the music will just help you be more motivated. Like to focus.
Exactly. 100%. It's true. Like, the music plays a lot. Like, yeah. And like you're talking to me about that now, and I'm thinking about that. It's true. That plays a lot in tattoo. It's just crazy.
How do you deal with people that are like anxious? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to talk to you as like the first tattoo, or people come to you because of just knowing your reputation. If they're super anxious and have never gotten a tattoo before, how do you deal with that? Do
I
you
mean,
deal with
yeah. I mean, actually, I'm not talking about the fact that I don't have tattoos because they're gonna be even more anxious about that.
that?
Yo, I mean, listen, I'm going slowly, right? So we have a few hours to talk, to settle down everything, to be more connected, so he can feel, what I'm doing. I can feel that guy, or the girl, so we have a connection. This is how it is, right? So this is not just you selling something like, at the grocery store, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. No, you're tattooing. He gonna, bear that art, like that art forever. So you're trying to bond something together. So, after some like a few hours, I've talked to them when we start. Of course, they're sweating, they if they're first timers, right? So I really start slowly, right? So I'm really telling him like, hey, I'm just gonna do a dot, tell me what you think, I'm doing a dot, and then like all the stress and the adrenaline just are falling down. They're like, oh fuck, I don't even feel anything. I'm like, okay, let's go now. We can start. So yeah, it's a little like progressive
Step by
way
step.
to do step by step. Exactly,
Is
exactly.
there anything you wish clients knew before they saw you? Like anything that you wish maybe ahead of time they could be aware of, or something that they could kind of keep in mind before you even have the conversation or the first consultation? Besides that, it's not cheap.
No, no, I'll be back to that one. It's not like my prices are like people sometimes they talking about the price. I'm like I'm fucking shocked. It's not even that, which is crazy,
Yeah.
right? I'll talk about that. Yeah, yeah. So what I wish something different. I wish people be more specific about the tattoo they want when they come to see me.
Okay.
because we're losing so much fucking time this design because they don't know what they want to do. They're like, do whatever you want. This is the worst thing you can say to a tattooist. Because I have so many ideas. What do you want me to do? Like a movie, a celebrity, a fucking flower. I don't know, right? So, and sometimes they come into me, they decide something, and actually, this is something I want to talk to. They not really deciding their tattoos. They have to call their boyfriend, their girlfriend, and that shit pisses me off so much because I did the whole project, and I have to wait for fucking guy or girls there to decide for my client and to tell if the tattoo is good. Sometimes when I take the phone, it's like, yo, fucking shut up, you don't know the tattoo.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't do that to me, right? So, and we have to start everything together. Yeah, more decided. This is something I want you to like no more. Those guys to decide the thing before coming to see me. But I understand. They want me to help them too. So
I haven't mentioned it yet because I think I want this interview to be about you and your art. But if you feel
mhm.
like bragging for a second about some of your bigger clients, how did it
Oh yeah.
start with the celebrities and like, what is it to work with celebrities? Because I know working with them is different. You
Well,
travel and how does
yeah,
that
it's.
happen?
I mean, I wish all my friends and all the people to experience it once so they can stop saying it's so good.
I figured it's a headache because I cut some celebrities' hair. Like I've cut Colin Kaepernick, I cut Made in Tokyo.
Oh
There's
shit!
a lot of people
Yeah,
whose
that's
hair I've cut.
crazy, bro. That's
And
crazy.
it's not any different than cutting somebody regular's hair, except I'm on their time. I have to be in their city at their
Exactly
apartment,
right.
so it changes. The
Exactly. But
lighting is different, things like that. But
of course, 100%. So I'm gonna question you right now.
all right,
How do you think? Of course, like my bigger client, of course, is Drake, right? So, how do you think I got in contact with him? Like, this. What's like the first thing you think? Like, how? Like, we got in. I don't know, in
I mean,
touch.
I'd imagine that somebody like that or a friend of somebody like that would see your work and say, you need to connect with this guy.
Fucking no, wrong. He he no. He texted me on Instagram.
Really?
I was like, first when I saw that shit, I was like literally threw my phone. I was like, I couldn't believe that. I was like, where?
How long had you been tattooing when you get that message?
So it's been like 7 years I'm tattooing right now. So I'm working with him already like for 3 years now. Can you imagine how fucking time flies, bro?
I mean, just
So
the
I've been
fact that
tattooing for 4 years. 4 years.
so he hit you up 4 years into tattooing. You have the biggest guy in the world hit you up on
Fuck,
Instagram.
bro.
So
I
what is
mean, hey,
what does he say? Is he just like, I love what you do, or
bro, he's the coolest guy over there. You cannot even imagine. He literally texted me like, "Yo, bro, I love your work. Now, can you tattoo me, please?" And I was like, "Fuck no, of course yes." I mean, so yeah, I mean, like, but he texted me that, and then I respond, of course, like, let's make that happen, right? And those guys, like, they want it now. He
okay?
was like, "Can you fly tomorrow?" I was like, my passport was expired. Actually, I couldn't even tell him, like, how you can tell to that guy your passport is expired, right? So you can
Yeah,
just. So I was
I'd
like,
love
yeah,
to, but I can't get there tomorrow because my passport.
yeah, I mean, and I told him, like, I remember I told him, I texted him, I was like, yo, I had to cancel some clients. That was true. I had
Yeah,
to cancel some clients. And you cannot tell your clients that you're going to fly to tattoo somebody else because those guys don't care because they've been waiting for a year to get a
yeah, I'm
tattoo.
sure.
So that was kind of tricky. So, I was like, yo, guys, I feel kind of sick for a week or two. So I did my passport, like really, really fast passport, entry, whatever. I remember, and I sent him a message though, like everything's good. So he literally sent me the tickets to fly over there. I flew there. It was my first time was in Toronto. Fucking great city. I love that city. It's crazy. The only difference with New York is it's so clean.
Yeah,
It's
I've
so
heard,
clean.
and people are probably more friendly.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a big city, right? So I don't know, but
Okay.
like, yeah, of course, there is a lot of crazy people, in all the big cities, right? So, but like, it was so clean. I was smoking. I was like, where I'm gonna throw this? I don't even know, right? So it's like, I asked somebody. And somebody told me like, just throw it there. Is it gonna clean? I was like, okay. Somebody came and cleaned. I was like, wow, I never saw that shit. So basically, what happened? So I flew there. I remember it was like I didn't sleep like for 3 days. So can you like just put yourself in my position, right? So like the biggest guy calling you for a tattoo. This is like my first big guy and the biggest guy, which is like, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
And four
Usually people
years
going
in.
like, yeah, people usually going like, steady up. Like, no, that was like, bam.
Boom.
So, and yeah, and I couldn't sleep for 72 hours. I was like, I was fucked up. When you cannot sleep so many hours, you don't feel good, right? So you feel really bad. And I remember we flew there, and the whole day I was running everywhere to get my gear, right? Because I cannot travel with my gear, because
Oh
you
wow.
know the what do you call like those guys working the TSA, right? The guys
Yeah.
they're gonna
So they
ask
don't
you
let
like,
you travel. You can't bring
no,
equipment.
you can't, bro. I mean, because you cannot work, right? So I mean, I'm not really working for Drake. Like, he's like a
Yeah, no,
friend
it's a
client, so I
one-time
can
thing. You
do.
thinking?
Of course, there's no problem, right? So, but still, so I was running like I literally landed. Get out from airport. I literally contacted my friends there and there, around the Toronto. I have to mention those guys. Chronic Inc. from Toronto, they helped me so much. Fucking love those guys forever. There's another Dmitry. He helped me a lot too. They literally came, brought me to the shop, gave me everything. Can you imagine that shit happened
It's
somewhere?
crazy.
They gave me everything. That was crazy. Back I was like, wow, this. So they gave me everything. I remember it was around like 10 in the like 10 in the evening, at 10 p.m. I got all my gears, ready for the tattoo, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm fucking waiting. The pressure is there. Back then, Drake used to stay at the Four Seasons, hotel. And it
Okay.
was a crazy because the whole floor was his floor, right? So I know we've been staying in a room somewhere there, and I was like, okay, maybe he's not gonna call me today because he knew, like, I flew like for 8 hours, I'm fucked up, whatever. I was like,
Tiresome.
around midnight, I was like, I'm gonna go sleep, have to get some sleep because if I'm not gonna rest now, I'm gonna fuck up his tattoo. This is how it is,
Yeah.
right, bro? When you're tattooing something, right? You're tattooing from the morning when you're like, full of energy. You're not gonna tattoo somebody after 72 hours, no sleep. You're fucked
Yeah,
up.
it's not
You
the
can't.
lines will be
Especially
very
that guy,
crooked.
bro. Especially that guy. Okay, maybe my friend can understand that guy won.
Yeah, well, your boy with the fucked up tattoos, maybe, but this guy's tattoos is gonna probably be on TV or something.
Exactly. So this is, I swear, on the hand of my mom, I swear to the God, this is what happened. I got ready to go to bed. I literally put my head on the pillow, and I received a fucking message from the boy telling me like, you can come to my room. I was like, fuck. I told my wife I want to cry because I cannot say him no, and I want to
Yeah.
say him no because I'm fucked up, because I was so tired. I was in a situation. I was like, I'm fucked. I want to cry, bro. Like for real. Like
Yeah, you're in a corner.
old ass man want to cry because he's like no, and especially it was my first time, like doing something like that crazy. I remember I called my friend. It was midnight, so it was 6 in the morning in Belgium. I called my friend. He woke up. He was like, "Yo, why you call me?" I was like, "Yo, I'm in Toronto for Drake." He's like, "Yo, what the fuck are you talking about?" And I told him like, "So what should I do? Should I tell him no and wait till tomorrow?" He was like, "No, this is like little like you winning the lottery, right?"
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah,
be ready to go.
you have to go. He was like, I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you're fucked up. I don't, people are struggling, so you're gonna struggle. You're gonna go
Yeah.
now, dress up, take your computer, just go there. I was like, fuck, okay. So I got ready, everything. I took my Mac, I just literally went to that door. I was like literally standing in front of that door for like 30 seconds, not doing anything. I could hear some music going from there. And I literally was like, ring that bell. And I was expecting, of course, when you go in there, you expect, going through what we call like,
Like
the
security or
managers, because
something.
of course
Yeah.
security managers, because you have to sign some, confidential parts, a
Yeah.
lot of things going on. Fucking no, he opened the door by himself. He opens the door. with the hookah in the hand. It was like,
Wow.
oh, bro, he
And
literally
that's the
put that
first time
down.
you meet?
Exactly, that was the first time. He literally put the hookah down. He gave me a huge hug, and all the stress and all my, the tiredness, everything was gone. Like literally gone.
Wake up.
Yeah, just little, like just and
Wow.
he was like, just come in. We sat there. There was a lot of like his friends and listening to the music. You know how it's going, right? I don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
explain how
I've been
it's
around
going
a
in the
lot of
crib, right?
rappers.
So you know how it's going in the crib, right? So we stayed there, and you know what was super cool about that part? That guy fucking know everything about tattoos.
Really?
So that why that part was easy because he got tattoos from the biggest ones like Nico Hurtado before me,
Oh,
that my idol Nikki
oh,
23
24.
GTR. Yeah, I mean he got the even like from Dr. Wu, all those. Yeah, so
Wow.
he knew when he's talking about tattoos what he's talking about, right? So I wasn't there just to explain, if you do this, it's going to be better. No, he was little like talking to me as like a client, a tattoo. So like if we do this, whatever. So we decided on that tattoo, and I remember uh, I tattooed him that night. That night, no, it wasn't that night, bro. We started at 5 in the morning. We tattooed till 12.
Wow.
So after my 3 days of not working and not sleeping, just went there and just did it. Right?
You said another day I'm not gonna sleep. That's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
no, yeah,
Did you
that
tell him
was crazy.
afterwards, like once he was happy, how tired you were? Was it like,
No,
all
I
right,
never told
we're
him.
done, I'm going to sleep?
I was, I got some pride, right? So I was like, I'm not gonna show any weakness.
Yeah.
I never told him anything. Probably he knows or he doesn't know, but I'm not there to tell him like, I'm so, tired, poor.
Yeah, yeah, I
No,
got you.
nobody cares. This is the part I understood when you're part to that environment, with those guys. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You have to be on yourself. This is how they doing, how they made, right? So this is how you made to do, to cut their hair because you're on your own,
Yeah,
right? So
you gotta
nobody's
just
just
be
gonna take
ready.
your finger. Yeah, right. So yeah, that's true, bro. It's the word, bro.
That's
So
funny.
no, I really never told him. It's like, but I'll fucking still remember that how cool he was that day. I remember my wife. He came. He was literally like, "Oh, Florence, what do you want to drink?" She was like, "Wow, she's fucking Drake is just asking me what you want to drink." So like, I don't know. She was like, "Maybe a Red Bull because I'm gonna fall asleep." He literally he himself really went to that to the fridge, just took a few things to drink, just gave us. Like it
Yeah.
was so cool.
Yeah, I've only met him maybe twice, but he's always been a very nice guy.
Yeah, but like the stuff is some people maybe gonna misjudge him, right? Because the part you see outside, because and the part
Yeah,
you see inside is totally different, right? So I met him as a friend, as like as a first, of course, like as a customer, right? So and then we became friends, and I really saw like a different person, like from because those guys when they're going out, they cannot show any emotions or whatever because whatever they do, people gonna say
they're
something.
gonna judge it. Yeah.
Even if they don't tell anything, they're gonna do something.
Yeah,
This is
even
how
when they say
crazy.
nothing, people assume. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that was great. That was my first day with him, right? Like
Do
that's
you
crazy.
do you have a favorite moment like for the whole career? What would you say is maybe your favorite moment in all of this?
So listen, I mean, hey, my favorite moment is a lot of moments together, right? So my favorite moment was literally the travel part and meeting people, right? So because I'm really sociable, I like talking to people maybe too much, right? So I'm really friendly, straight, like, hey, I'm gonna talk a lot. So yeah, my favorite moment like about my career was like meeting new people and discovering new stuff, right? So this is not something I cannot forget, like this is what really I liked about that, and I'm not gonna stop doing that because it's something that I really like about that. Yeah, that's the most important part. Yeah.
Now that you're getting into art, I see you have the art page. I mean, you've always been into art, but now you brought it full circle and are actually doing pieces, it looks like. Um,
Yeah,
how
bro.
has
I
that
mean,
been? And do your parents have your parents asked you for art now for their house? Because if they were
no, no, no,
shut-
no. Hey, listen, like my parents first when I started tattooing, they were so fucking against that, bro. I was tattooing almost for a year. I never told them I was tattooing.
Oh
So
wow.
one day, my mom, she was literally, hey, I mean, like, how do you even survive, right? So like, where do you make your money? I was like, hey, I'm working in the fucking leather industry. This is what I told her. So she was like, are you making bags? What are you doing? Like with the leather? I was like, I'm working with skin products, and then hit it right. So she was like, oh my god, are you making tattoos? I was like, yes. And she was like, oh my god, we lost our child. You know, he's gonna sell drugs and guns and girls. It's like,
He's
yo,
a
mom, this is
biker
not.
now.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing to do with the tattoos. You have to understand, right? So of course, like slowly growing, they understood. They made even an Instagram page for themselves. So they following me. They're like this,
Okay.
those two guys, like my mom and my dad, is like those are like the hardcore fans, like
Yeah.
commenting on everything, liking everything, sharing everything. That's so
Ah, that's dope though,
funny.
because it came full circle, bro. Like if they were kind of against it early on, you could have easily became an engineer, economist, and the fact that you followed your dreams and did what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta do.
but that wasn't easy, bro. Life ain't easy, right? So,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you some true words, like I understood by myself. Uh, Society wants us to follow a path. This is what it is. And what I mean about that, I'm not judging people, having like 8 to 5 times job. Of course, this is what I did it too, right? But this is the system. When you do that, this is the most like you're mostly like rewarded,
yeah,
when you work for the society, right? So, and people choose that way because it's they can get like a house wherever, they win a lot of like the loans and everything. But I understood in Belgium, like if you're working for yourself, they're just gonna cut your head from there. It's just like it doesn't work like that. And that part, uh, I didn't want to be part of that. The society, whatever, like they push me to do something I don't want, right?
yeah,
So I told I told my friends, like if I was working at the bank today, I would probably die. You know what I mean? Like literally die from depression or something, right? So of course my job here, some people they don't take my job as a real job, which is fucking stupid because some even my friends are like call me like, yo bro, let's go out tonight. I'm like, I have to tattoo tomorrow. I can't. I mean, yo, your job is not a job. You're not making any bricks walls, right? So I was like, when I'm tattooing, actually, when I'm done with the tattoo, I'm fucking zombie. I don't, my, concentration was so hardcore, on that tattoo. I'm just literally empty, empty. Like I cannot do anything physically. Of course, I might have some energy, but my mind is dead.
yeah. It's like
So,
driving and just looking straight for a long time.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, especially like you cannot fuck up that shit, right? So,
At all.
and, and this is what I'm telling, like, doing something on your own or something you like today, it's so hard, you know, because people, they don't see the hard work you put like just, behind, right? So they just see whatever watch you put, whatever you do, you travel there, you met that guy, they only see
Yeah,
that, right? But they don't see that, for month and years, I wasn't even like, sleeping properly. I was like, I was working till 5, 6 in the morning. I was like, who's gonna do that,
yeah,
right? So, and this is, that's the hard part of the job, and that's something I want to tell, like the young people want to follow the dreams, fucking do it, and just no, just don't hold back, just do it, like just and try everything. One thing gonna work, promise you, right? So, but if you do your work, if you put like on, this is what I'm telling you. People sometimes asking like, wow, how your tattoos look so real, whatever. Because like I sold my soul to the devil, and this is true, right? Because I'm every time I'm trying to put a little bit of my soul to that fucking tattoo. That's how it becomes more real, right?
yeah.
So, and whatever you're gonna do that with your job, the dream you follow, you're gonna put yourself, your soul, and everything. This is how it's gonna work, and you're gonna fulfill your whatever you're doing, right? So this is how I think that how it happens, right? At least for me.
Yeah, you got to
So
be relentless, man. And I think the story
yeah,
you told about the first time in Toronto is so telling because I never thought of that. But like the fact that you can't even travel with the equipment, that everywhere you go requires you to run around different shops, move through the city
exactly,
to find the gear,
crazy.
is no joke.
No, no,
Um,
no. I mean, like, running around, like, you need special needles, like, because every needles are different, you cannot use like something like really like cheap or something yeah, I mean, there's something people they don't really know. It's this is like vaccine stories.
I have two more questions for you. One,
Bro,
how
everything you
did you
want.
get your tattoo? How did that
This,
happen?
so, yo, bro, this is fuck.
and
I mean,
and
yeah. Tell me, tell me.
was your first thought, damn, my parents are gonna kill me now that I have a
No,
tattoo?
no. My first thought was like, fuck, I'm gonna die. So basically, what happened is I was tattooing only for a few months, bro. Can you imagine that? So I got a guy from the hood, like I don't know him. He's like literally from the hood. Like got some problems, but I mean, he was a client, so it was okay, right? I'm sitting there in my kitchen, almost like tattooing that guy on my table, nothing, and of course I got my gloves and everything, so I'm tattooing him. And when I was changing the needle, I hit the pedal, and that fucking needle went inside my hand. And then I was like, oh, this is the moment I really thought like, oh fuck, I have all the diseases. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna give something to my wife. She's gonna die too. Like all the
Ah.
yeah. And then I run to the bathroom. I try to suck it out, whatever, just the blood. But it stayed there. It went so deep. Usually the tattoo on your hands never stay, right? But
Okay.
this one went so deep inside, just like the dot just stayed perfectly.
You were gonna get some ink at some point or another, man.
100%. Of course, I'm gonna get some. Yeah.
Would you ever get you? Are you looking to ever get tattooed?
So I want, right? So I really wanted at one point, like, I was really dying from like getting like a full sleeve from, Oscar, a camera from New York, from Bang Bang, those guys are my really good friends, from Mr. K, Keith Hernandez, there's a lot of like those guys. I wanted like a full back piece from Carlos Torres. And you know what happened actually, after so many years I was tattooing, right? So, when I met those guys, like actually Mr. K and Oscar, they told me they want to do like my two full sleeves with Balaz. I was like, I was like, I'm not ready. I said no. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it's
And
wild.
yeah, because
Who would say no to those guys?
yeah, I mean it's crazy, but I think they understood me too, because I told them like, listen, I'm tattooing every day. Uh, Imagine I want a rose right on my hand today, right? So
Mhm.
how many roses I'm gonna make a year? So how many times my style gonna change to the better point, right? And if
Word.
me, I'm gonna look back and I'm like, fuck, I should have done it like a year after. I'm gonna regret that tattoo forever, because I like everything like perfect, right? So
Yeah.
that's like that's the thing is, I don't want to be sitting there just like watching that tattoo artist working, like telling it, hey, don't do that like that, do it like this, or
Yeah.
or just gonna change my mind because I have so many ideas, right? So I'm almost like all the tattoos I'm making today, it's 50-50. It's not like just the clients want it. This is like I want to do too, right? So I got to the point I can choose what I want to do. So all the tattoos you can see today on my Instagram is like, this is something I'd like to have on me. So
Mhm.
basically, whatever I'm done with the tattoo, I'm happy as I did it on myself. You understand what I mean?
Got you.
So every day is the same as I got a new tattoo. So I don't feel like the need to get a tattoo on myself.
Yeah.
That's something like more philosophical or whatever.
Nah, it makes sense though, because it's like it's kind of like collecting. Even though you don't get to hold on to it, it's like the fact
Yeah,
that you
right.
put it
Yeah,
on
exactly.
somebody, you're collecting on your Instagram memories for
Exactly.
days.
Exactly. Bro, can you just wait just a small
Yeah,
second,
yeah,
because
do
I'm
your
gonna
thing, man.
yeah, because I'm gonna take another earphone, whatever, because this one is dying.
Do your thing. Do your thing. I could look at this beautiful landscape all day.
Yo, bro, you're welcome whenever you want, bro.
My last and final question: if you could go back, right, to the kid that was drawing in his house, hiding his paintings, everything, and give that guy some advice, what would you do? What would you tell him?
Don't listen to nobody, just to yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Just follow your dreams. Just don't listen to. I mean, good. Listen to the good advices, of course, but take the best from all the advices. And just follow what you want to follow. And this is how this is how it works. If today I would see myself, probably I would just slap myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Just like you
Yeah,
got it.
because
But
sometimes I see those kids today, like little, like 12 years old. I was just playing, soccer outside, just, whatever. And of course, I got like my good childhood, whatever. But like, today when I'm thinking like some children, like, they're really into whatever. The world is changing, right? So I'll be like, hey, just do it, right? So just go and fucking do it. And the most important part, just, I for a lot of, like, for a long time, I lacked, how we call it, like, I lacked of self-confidence, right? So be self-confident, like, you're the best. Don't forget that, whatever you do, just do it perfectly. This is the reality. This is, the good advice I would give myself, probably.
Well said, man. Could I'll piggyback real quick. Could you describe your art in one word? If there was one word to describe what you do in the art.
You mean the tattoo or the art in general? Because
In general.
I want my art to be alive forever.
Live. I love it.
You know, because when you see those, I'm not talking about today, because I know what happened with the art today. I'm talking about Renaissance, those back then, those paintings and everything, they put so much in, like into details, in, like, when you take that, this tattoo from David's statue, you can see veins, that statue lives forever, because there is, they made it so alive, they put so much, this is something I want to do. I want my life, with my art, to live forever, and and talk to the most of the people. That's probably whatever I do. This is something I find everywhere.
Nah, and I think it's incredible, man. I mean, where can people see the art? Because I think they'll see a perfect example. Every picture looks like it's alive, but how can they keep up with you?
What do you mean? I mean, where they can see the art?
Yeah, you think Instagram's the best place?
I mean, of course, but I mean, Instagram is the best place for my tattoo artwork.
Okay.
But like, just between us, I'm working on a bigger piece, and hopefully you'll see that shit soon. Something totally different on another level, and even another level on those, than those dollar bills I did for.
Okay.
Totally different, and probably the best way to follow my art is on Instagram right now, because I'm working on the website. It's gonna be online soon too. So Instagram, follow that shit, so you'll see some good stuff to happen, right, bro?
Well, you're an amazing dude, bro. I really appreciate the time, because fucking this story is incredible. It was one of my favorite interviews ever.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much having me here today. Again, guys, like, because you don't know what happened, I was late for the meeting, so
Nah, it's all good. It's love, bro. I know you busy, man, and you focus on what you do, and I got a lot of respect for you. So I appreciate any time you had today.
Thank you so much, man. And of course, I mean, let's keep in touch, right? So whatever you hear, I'm there. Is how it works. So we have to stick together.
Thanks. Nah, I'm gonna definitely get some ink one day, man. Maybe I'll have you put a dot on my hand or something.
Just high five.
That's it.
Oh, this is the dot gang. Yeah, right.
Dot gang. Do you know the vibes?
Thomas Edison had 5 dots.
Yeah.
He invented the tattoo.
He said Thomas Edison invented, I guess, the tattoo gun and had 5 dots on him from practicing. So maybe look into that. As my friend knows all these fun facts. He said Thomas Edison invented the tattoo gun and had 5 dots on him.
Really?
It's true?
I can't fucking believe that shit. Really?
On his wrist, he had 5 dots, like a dice, like a 5 on the dice, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle.
Wow. Wow. You see, like,
Crazy.
you every day. That's super cool. Thank you so much for
Well,
that.
thank you, Inal. I appreciate you, bro. We're gonna talk soon.
All right, brother. See you soon, bro. Take care.
Man.